She was rejected on a Christmas blind date, until a little girl asked to join her. Snow drifted past the cafe windows like feathers shaken from a pillow, soft and unhurried, settling on the lampposts outside and the knitted hats of people passing by. Inside, the cafe glowed with Christmas lights looped around shelves of mugs and tins of cocoa. Cinnamon and coffee hung in the air, warm and forgiving. Mara sat alone at a small round table near the window, her hands wrapped around a cup she hadn't really been drinking from. The coffee had gone lukewarm, but she kept lifting it to her lips anyway, as if the motion itself could steady her. She checked her phone for the third time in 2 minutes. No new messages. She didn't need to look to know that. Still, she unlocked the screen, scanned it, and locked it again, the disappointment landing with the same dull thud each time. The blind date was supposed to arrive at 6. It was now 6:24. Mara glanced at her reflection in the darkened window. She had tried, really tried, for this date. A soft green sweater her sister had insisted brought out her eyes. Lipstick instead of her usual balm. Hair brushed and smoothed, though a curl had already escaped near her ear. "You look lovely," her sister had said earlier that afternoon, fastening Mara's coat and pushing her gently toward the door. "And he's a friend of a friend. Normal, stable, likes books." That last part had been what convinced her. Mara exhaled slowly and set the cup down. Around her, couples laughed, scarves draped over chair backs, hands brushing as they reached for cookies. A family at the long table near the counter was dividing a slice of cake with exaggerated seriousness, as if it were a diplomatic negotiation. Her phone buzzed, her heart jumped, then sank. Unknown number. "Hey, this is Daniel. I'm really sorry, but I don't think this is going to work. I saw you when I came in and I just don't feel the connection I'm looking for. I didn't want to waste your time. Take care." Mara stared at the screen. The words blurred for a moment, then sharpened again, each one precise and final. He'd come in, seen her, left. A flush crept up her neck, hot and humiliating. She imagined him standing somewhere near the door, scanning the room, deciding she wasn't worth walking toward. She imagined him telling the friend who'd set this up that she wasn't his type, whatever that meant this week. She swallowed and forced her shoulders to relax. Crying here would be too much. She could cry later, at home, where no one would see her blotchy face or hear the hitch in her breathing. She typed a response she didn't feel. "Okay, thanks for letting me know." She slipped the phone into her bag and stared down at the table. For a moment, she considered leaving immediately, coat and scarf and dignity gathered quickly, disappearing into the snow before anyone could notice her solitude. But her legs wouldn't move. Instead, she raised her hand to signal the barista. "Could I get this to go?" she asked, gesturing to the untouched coffee. As the barista nodded and reached for a lid, a small voice piped up beside her. "Excuse me." Mara looked down. A little girl stood there, maybe 6 or 7, bundled in a red coat with oversized buttons and a scarf wrapped twice around her neck. Her cheeks were pink from the cold, and her dark hair was pulled into uneven pigtails that suggested a morning battle with a comb. "Yes," Mara said, surprised. The girl pointed to the empty chair across from Mara. "Can I sit here, just for a little bit?" Mara hesitated, glancing around instinctively for an adult. "Where's your?" she began. "My dad's over there," the girl said, jerking her thumb toward the counter. "He's talking to the coffee man. About oat milk." Mara followed her gaze. A man stood at the counter, tall, wearing a navy coat dusted with snow. He was leaning slightly forward, listening intently to the barista, one hand wrapped around his phone, the other gesturing as if this oat milk issue were of national importance. Mara smiled faintly. "I guess that's okay," she said. "If it's just for a little bit." The girl beamed and climbed onto the chair, her boots swinging above the floor. She placed her mittens neatly on the table, as if this were a very serious meeting. "I'm Lucy," she announced. Mara replied. Lucy tilted her head, studying Mara's face with unsettling focus. "You look sad." Mara let out a short laugh. "Do I?" "Uh-huh," Lucy said, nodding. "My teacher says grown-ups think kids don't notice things, but we do." "Well," Mara said, choosing her words carefully, "you're very observant." Lucy leaned forward. "Did someone not come?" Mara blinked. "What? The extra cup?" Lucy said, pointing at the coffee. "My dad and I do that sometimes when someone doesn't show up." Mara's throat tightened. "Something like that," she admitted. Lucy frowned, her brows pulling together. "That's rude." Mara smiled, a real one this time, though it wobbled at the edges. It is. Lucy drummed her fingers on the table. Did they say sorry? Sort of. That's not good enough, Lucy declared. If you make plans, you should keep them. Or bring cookies. Mara laughed softly. I agree. The barista returned with the to-go lid, setting it down gently. Mara thanked him and turned back to Lucy. Lucy leaned closer. You know what helps when my feelings get twisty? What? Mara asked. Hot chocolate, with extra marshmallows. Mara glanced at the counter, then back at Lucy. That does sound helpful. My dad lets me get one on Fridays if I've been brave all week, Lucy said proudly. Today's not Friday, but it's almost Christmas, so it counts. Mara felt something warm spread through her chest, easing the tightness she hadn't realized was there. You make a convincing argument. Thank you. Lucy's father turned around then, scanning the cafe. His eyes landed on Lucy at Mara's table, and his expression shifted, first concern, then relief. He walked over quickly. Lucy, he said gently. I told you to stay where I could see you. I am where you can see me, Lucy replied, pointing at him. And this is Mara. She's sad. Mara looked up, embarrassed. I'm sorry. She asked if she could sit. It's okay, he said quickly, offering a reassuring smile. Up close, his face was kind, lines at the corners of his eyes deepening when he smiled. I'm Evan, and I appreciate you keeping her company. Lucy crossed her arms. She's been rejected. Evan blinked. Lucy, what? She was. Mara laughed despite herself. She's very honest. Evan chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. That she is. I'm sorry if she. It's fine, Mara said. Really? Lucy looked between them. She needs hot chocolate. Evan raised an eyebrow. Does she? Yes, Lucy said firmly. With extra marshmallows. Evan glanced at Mara. I can make that happen, he said. If you'd like to join us. Mara hesitated. This wasn't what she'd planned for the evening. But then again, what she'd planned had already fallen apart. She looked at Lucy's hopeful face, at Evan's open expression, and felt the weight of the rejection shift slightly, no longer pressing quite so hard. Okay, she said. I'd like that. They moved to a larger table together. Evan ordered hot chocolates, one small with a mountain of marshmallows, one medium with whipped cream, one coffee for himself. Lucy narrated the entire process as if she were hosting a cooking show. When they sat, Lucy immediately began stirring her drink, marshmallows dissolving into sugary clouds. So, Lucy said, looking at Mara, are you going to cry later? Mara nearly choked on her drink. Lucy, what? Lucy said, crying helps sometimes. Mara wiped her mouth, laughing. Maybe a little, she admitted. But I think I'm okay right now. Good, Lucy said. You should save your tears for really big things. Like when your balloon flies away. Evan smiled at Mara. She's been through a lot of balloons. I can imagine, Mara said. They talked about small things at first. Lucy's school play. Evan's attempts to bake Christmas cookies that always turned out too flat. Mara's job at the library. How she loved the quiet and the smell of old books. You work with books, Evan said. Lucy's convinced she'll live in one someday. It's possible, Mara said seriously. Some of them are very cozy. Lucy's eyes widened. See, as the evening wore on, the cafe grew louder, fuller. Outside, the snow fell thicker, softening the world beyond the windows. Mara realized she wasn't thinking about the blind date anymore. The sting was still there, but it had dulled, replaced by something lighter, a sense of being exactly where she was supposed to be, even if she hadn't known it an hour earlier. Eventually, Evan glanced at his watch. We should head out, he said. Your grandma's expecting us. Lucy groaned. She always makes me wear the itchy sweater. It's festive, Evan said. Lucy hopped down from her chair and pulled on her mittens. She turned to Mara suddenly and wrapped her arms around her waist in a fierce hug. Thank you, she said. Mara hugged her back, surprised by the lump in her throat. Thank you, she replied. Evan smiled. It was really nice meeting you, Mara. You too, she said, meaning it. Lucy took her father's hand but paused, looking back. You're not rejected anymore, she announced. You were just waiting. Mara laughed, eyes stinging. I think you might be right. They waved and disappeared into the snowy evening. Mara sat for a moment longer, finishing her drink. The cafe felt different now, warmer, brighter. She gathered her things and stood, feeling lighter than she had all day. As she reached the door, it opened again, letting in a rush of cold air and snow. Evan stood there, slightly out of breath. Hey, he said, sorry, I forgot to ask. Would you maybe like to get coffee again sometime? Just us. Mara smiled, slow and sure. I'd like that. Outside, the snow kept falling, covering footprints, softening edges, making room for something new.